All right. So I mentioned a little bit about information density as part of our evaluation. Now, a lot of today's infotainment systems are kind of crowded into a single zone. And I'm not picking on GMC here, but I'm going to use their picture as an example. Where for most vehicles, that means the center stack. That's the buttons, that's the screen, that's the interactions. And it ends up reminding me a little bit of what infotainment was like way back even before my day, or maybe when I was younger, where you had 3 channels. And there weren't enough choices for everyone to disagree on what to watch. So, I mean, everybody had the same experience. But the car is different. The driver's workload is different than, say, what the passengers are up to. And families, the family room is kind of different. Like in a lot of cases, TV's not even on, and everybody has their own tailored experience. And whereas that's kind of nice for a family, when they're at home, given all the choices and the different levels of responsibility while you're driving, that becomes really important in the car. And I think that it's a very interesting prospect for all of us, for the car to kind of catch up to how people are using technology elsewhere. I'm not saying that the answer is put a screen everywhere. In fact, in a lot of ways, that's not the case. But I will say that this next point is very important, that this needs to be immersive. And I think that there are a lot of technology providers here today that have shown a lot of concepts that created a more immersive experience, right? Visual is not always the best way to convey information, right? The sounds you hear in a car and where they're coming from are absolutely controllable. The haptic feedback is not just what's happening on the screen, it can be anywhere. Okay. I think that the line between interior designer and interaction designer is starting to blur. And I think that most of the winners here today won because that blurring has existed. Because traditionally, you have interior designers that want the cleanest, most beautiful, perfect kitchen with the nicest materials and all of that. And then the infotainment guys show up and say, okay, I got all this stuff. Where should we put it? And integrating that in the best safe way is a very thoughtful process. You almost need to start with that. Otherwise, if I'm going to extend my kitchen metaphor, you end up with the junk drawer, right? Well, it's in the screen. Put it in the screen. And 17 pages of depth in the screen later, you can maybe find what you have if you survive the interaction. Okay. Technology now allows, for information and interactions to be almost anywhere in the car, right? And I think that the best interactions are the ones that actually don't take a lot of time and effort for the driver. So organizing information into the proper space is an art form now. And if you're just thinking, well, I've got a cluster and I've got a screen in the center and everything goes in there, you are going to get left behind by your competitors.